Hi, hi everyone, and welcome to TW. Hi everyone, it's me, Sailor Moon, and it's me, Sailor Mercury or Sailor Quicksilver here. And today we're going to talk about: do we look straight or do we look crooked when we're on film? I don't know. So anyway, the first thing we're going to so anyway, the first thing we're going to talk about is is the Deacon Cloverway, is the Deacon Pioneer Sailor Moon really as bad as folks make it out to be? And the answer would be, I'm going to say no. That's more of a belief of who happens to be watching it at the time. And yes, it is outdated to now, but that doesn't make it bad. And yes, there are a lot of things were shifted about it. Like borrowed names. A lot of folks like to make, a big deal about, the Latinist borrowed names, the French's borrowed names, or Hebrewish borrowed name, or Spanish borrowed name, or Hebrewish borrowed name, or Farsiest borrowed name, or Black Landish borrowed names, or Hellenish borrowed names being put in instead of the Donish borrowed names. And a lot of folks make a big deal about that. They behave as if, they behave as if, you know, they make a big deal out of it and then behave as if, shifting out the names was like wrong or something, you know.
Moon bother.
Buttercup. They behave as if it was wrong, to borrow out, to shift out those names, as if shifting out borrowed names for other borrowed names was like, forbidden. It's almost as if they believed that, everyone should have known all the Danish borrowed names. Well, some folks might know more than others. And English did borrow names from other speeches, it's true. And other speeches did borrow names from English. But English didn't borrow as many Danish names as you think. So yeah, they had to shift to the borrowed names that folks who spoke English would know more of. And they also seem to make a big deal about, stead names or near names being shifted out, as if shifting out the near names and Dawnland was like a bad thing. Well, unless you get a book on Dawnland or have been to Dawnland yourself, or was or have been there, or have, then you're not going to know all the Near and Sheer and Reich names that Dawnland has. So yeah, they had to borrow those out and shift them to names that folks need be know. But they make a big deal out of it, as if it was the worstest thing in the world you could ever do was to, shift out near names. And when it came to strike names being shifted, yeah, they did make a big deal out of strike names being shifted. And it wasn't only it wasn't only DIC or Cloverway or Pioneer did this. I mean, Toei did it too. I mean, they would shift names from all the five followings. So yeah, and DIC had to come up with names for these strikes that folks speaking English would mostly understand. What about the other things of the DIC and Pioneer Sailor Moon that some folks out there might not make a big deal out of? Oh, the skimming. Can I go on now? Sailor Moon. Oh yeah, you're right, Sailor Moon. The skimming. A lot of folks are irked that some of the wrestling or some of the fighting was skimmed it out, or some of the things that were said and the four followings which DIC and Pioneer got the rights to work with, were shifted. They also make a big deal about some of the fighting not being there, or some of the overfighting being cut out, or some sagas of the first following and need be some of the two diff following being not, being skimmed. Well, the only thing I can come up with is that they felt that some of the things and those sagas of the first following and need be the two diff following might be some things that they felt weren't right. Like folks taking, like folks smoking or something, or some folks drinking. I don't know, but whatever. Or whatever they thought there were some things, being done in it that they thought at the time no one could really handle or wouldn't fly. And, in the Farseer and the 4-1 Reichs in the settled land at that given time. The other thing they make a big deal of is they also make a big deal of is about the unstraight folks. Folks who are unstraight. Nowadays the mindset, the stand is not where it was now. Nowadays unstraight folks in a drawing show or film for children is all right, because a lot of folks know that being unstraight, there's nothing wrong with it. But back then, Deacon Pioneer, forgive me, thought that folks could not deal or handle on folks being unstraight in a drawing show or a drawing film for children. So Deacon Pioneer had to come up with ways to get around that a lot of folks would not, be so worried about. And a lot of folks don't know that, but there were some folks out there who thought it was wrong for unstraight self to be in a drawing show or a drawing film for children. Nowadays it's now it's all right now. It's all right now, and it always was. But Deacon Pioneer didn't know what folks would say or do if they saw that in a Dawnish drawing show. So, yeah, that's why they may have been frightened over what folks would say or do. So, yeah, they had to shift that. I'm sorry that that's what happened. Now, if you overlook all of those things, a lot of folks out there will say that, oh, well, the Deacon Pioneer Sailor Moon is just unwatchable and unyieldable, unwatchable to folks. And that's not true. I have watched the DIC one many times and the Pioneer one many times, and they're still watchable. All right. Need be, they might not be, they need be outdated to nowadays, to how might need be outdated. But at the time, I thought it was good. Well, just want to say, Sailor Moon says, if you like my DIC English take, if you like the Pioneer English take, if you like the Cloverway English take, whatever English takes there were out there back in the day, great. If you like the Viz English take, well, that's also wonderful too. There's nothing wrong with that take of Sailor Moon. It's whatever you like. Yes, Deacon Pioneer Sailor Moon is outdated now and has been outdated for many years, and a lot of the things that were said and done and how it was handled might not fly these days. And yes, names being shifted, strike names being shifted, near names being shifted, the unstraight being shifted might be things that some folks might, scave. Yeah, that's true. But it doesn't mean that the DIC one is bad or the Pioneer one is bad. That's a belief held by whoever happened to be watching it. So that's it. Sailor Moon, Serena, Sailor Mercury, Sailor Quicksilver, Amy. See you later. Bye.